I've got a very important question for you guys today. If I were to tell you to hit a pole, let's say we imagine a pole right here, and I said I want you to hit this spot on the pole as hard as you can, and I were just to hand you a stick, we can just imagine my bat here's a stick, and you were to hit this spot on a pole, how would you do this? Well, the first thing you would do is you would gear up and you would say, okay, if you hit this pole and you can get the number to go up to 100, we'll give you $1 million. Well, what you would do is very naturally as an athlete, you would get ready to go hit that ball. Now, the key, or no, I'm sorry, to hit the pole. Now, the key thing here is what did we do to say, hey, I'm going to generate as much speed into that spot as possible? It's a very, very important concept. I'm going to tell you what that is in this video. Let's go ahead and get started. So guys, what I did there, what was so important is I got myself in a position to strike an object, a ball. This is, we're talking about hitting here, or we're going to be relating this to hitting. And what I did was I got my shoulders and my upper body angled into a position that's going to allow me to deliver as much force into that spot as possible. This is very, very important because in a lot of my younger hitters, I see the exact opposite, especially when there's a pitcher up on the mound. They go to stride, even though our hitting area is roughly around the belt to knees area below us, those shoulders rock back. And this is a big perception issue. This is one of the main reasons this happens is we see a pitcher in the distance, and the further out in the distance, the higher something is going to look. They're up on a mound, they're seeing that ball come, and they're trying to time the pitcher. These shoulders get rocked back. And believe it or not, I've even seen this at the pro level where these shoulders get back. We can still swing with speed. We've got a round bat, we've got a round ball, we've got a lever in our hands. We can still get speed and hit the ball. We can do this incorrectly and get hits, but we're not talking about getting speed and hitting balls. We're trying to do this as efficiently as possible. And if we're going to do this as efficiently as possible, we're going to try to hit that pole, like we talked about in the beginning of this video, as hard as we possibly can. We want to get our angles as good as we can. Now, we want those shoulders kind of on a downward angle. If I show you a couple pro athletes here, Miguel Cabrera, Mike Trout, these guys are all really, really good at this because they understand that when the ball gets to them, they're going to be hitting in an area that's below them. They're going to be setting up to strike an area that's below them. But there's a proper way to do this, an improper way to do this, like everything else. We have to understand how we want to set up our stance to get ourselves in this position. So just a quick note for you guys working on this at home. If you're looking at yourself on camera, just keep this in mind. You are going to have this nice downward tilt with the shoulders like we're talking about right now in the video, but keep in mind that right when you start the swing, those shoulders aren't going to look like that anymore. We've already directed this. This is more of an illusion, but we've already directed our momentum here. So you're actually going to see those shoulders start working against that line, so they're actually going to look like they're tilting upwards. But realistically, we've already given ourselves the direction initially when we're going downwards towards the ball. But just keep in mind when you're looking at yourself on camera that shoulder angle, when that front foot hits, is when we're going to want to make sure those shoulders are down. So when that front foot touches, those shoulders are going to be angled downwards towards the hitting area. So if you know from the pro setup, from the pro speed hitting system, we talk about getting that bat flat on our shoulder, lifting up, and getting those hands roughly around shoulder height to start. Now, there's all kinds of play with this. This is not an exact system. It's an efficiency system so that we can make sure we're in the best possible positions. Now, if we understand that our lead hand is below our top hand, that should automatically, naturally want us to set the bat or set our lead shoulder below the right shoulder. If our hands were completely the same on the bat, we would have square shoulders. Guys, this is not a spine tilt forward. We never, ever want to kink our spine when we're doing anything athletic. I don't know if we even want to kink our spine when we're not doing something athletic. We want to make sure that our spine stays very, very neutral in good posture and that we are allowing our shoulders to naturally grip the bat. This is where when we start getting tense, we start doing things, we can get all kinds of wonky. This is something that's very, very natural, and if you do it right, so if you just stand straight up and down and you grip this bat normally in a good grip, you're going to see this lead shoulder is going to be slightly lower. Now we go ahead and get these hands back into the hitting position or the setup position. When we get into our setup, this should naturally set that left shoulder lower than the right shoulder. And that's very, very important. Now, the second most important piece is that we maintain that angle when we go into our load stride. And that's what we're going to work on in this video, is making sure that when we load stride, that we're maintaining that angle and that we're not letting our shoulders rock back. Again, this is a very, very big killer move because nobody that I'm going to say, if you hit that spot on that pole, I'm going to give you, as hard as you can, I'm going to give you $1 million, is going to rock back and try to go down there and swing at the pole. It's just never going to happen. Nobody's ever going to want to do that naturally unless they've been playing baseball the wrong way for a long time, and that's how they learned how to swing. So what you're going to do at home is make sure you're getting into the proper pro setup positioning right here, and this is a great drill to do in front of the mirror. Just go ahead and lift up your hands into the hitting position, wherever that's comfortable, not too high, not too low, and make sure that you have a little bit of downward tilt with your shoulder. It doesn't have to be a lot. Like Miguel Cabrera, when he gets loaded up, he gets a lot of downward shoulder tilt. It's really, really good. If that's comfortable for you, I'd say go for it, try it out, but it doesn't have to be that much. We just want to make sure we have some angle down and we maintain that angle the entire time, especially when the pitcher's throwing to us. Remember, he's throwing down here. We want to be hitting down here. We want our eyes up at the pitcher, but we want our shoulders angled down. So what you're going to do, get in your setup and start working on some load stride positioning. So use your advanced load stride swing drill technique. If you're not really you're not really comfortable yet with the load stride swing drill, just make sure you load your hands and then your foot so you can get comfortable with it. But if you're feeling pretty good with that at this point, make sure you're load striding and that you're maintaining that angle with those shoulders staying down. And then once you get really comfortable with that, then start making some swings. So right here, I can even do this from the load stride position. I'm going to load stride. Okay, my shoulders are angled down. And I'm just going to start making some swings. Now this might feel a little bit off to you guys that have been getting your shoulders angled up, but this is like anything else. If we know it's efficient, we can work on it, and then once it gets comfortable, you're never going to want to do it any other way. I'll show you one here from down the line. We're going to load stride. My shoulders are still angled in the right direction. And we can really deliver a lot of speed down into that ball. All right, guys, get to work. It's going to feel really good, but trust it. And you're always going to have those shoulders in the direction of the speed that we want. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I really hope you enjoyed the video, but we got an even better bonus video coming up for you. Getting those shoulders on the right angle, crucially important, but making sure we get the right transition to deliver that speed into the ball on the right angle is even more important. And we're going to show you how to do that with the wall drill. You'll be able to get immediate feedback with this drill. I highly recommend checking it out. Thanks again for watching, guys, and we'll see you guys soon. Today, I'm going to show you the #1 move that kills bat lag. But most importantly, we're going to do a drill that will instantly give you a tight transition into bat lag and have your swing looking drastically better today. The move that I'm talking about here is when we're going into our transition and the bat lays down, and now the only thing that we have to rely on for bat speed is our pure strength. From Mike Trout, he does this really, really well. You'll see as we pause him here in the max bat lag position, his barrel is really high and you can see that it's barely dipping into that line. You can imagine if this was a nail and this bat was a hammer, if I was trying to hammer this nail in like this would be kind of like me dumping the bat. But if I'm letting this hammer swing and slam into this ball over and over again, I'm going to be very, very efficient. Now, I'm sure you guys are ready for it by now. Let's go ahead and dive into the wall drill. All right, guys, here we go, the wall drill.